Hey guys, here's your tutorial for Friday, December 18th, early release day, aka you're at home day, but you're going to do your work anyways day. So click the attendance link and let's get rolling. I just want to talk about our would you rather question, even though you can't respond to me. Would you rather receive one large gift or receive 10 small gifts? Me personally, I prefer quantity, so I would take the 10 small gifts versus quality, the one large gift. It's just who I am. Okay, checklist items for today. It's our day before break, so all you have to do is make sure you're looking over your multicellular vocab that was just assigned to you guys. Like I said on your tutorial for Monday, it's due January 15th, so if you want to get a head start on it over break, you can. If not, cool. And then your other reminder is to enjoy your break. You guys have earned this. It has been a crazy school year, so just enjoy your time being at home, even though that's all we've really done has been at home. But anyways, moving on to today's activity, which is Santa's workshop. I know you're excited because I'm excited. What we're going to do is go to the classwork tab where you will find this assignment and your copy of it. We finished our protists, which were single-celled organisms. We're talking a little bit about multicellular organisms. So this activity kind of brings the multicellular portion to light and talks about the different parts of like plant cells and animal cells. So every cell, there are things inside of it that have specific jobs, right? So when we talk about our organelles inside of plant and animal cells, they all have functions, and we're going to constantly compare those functions to things in our world that make sense to us. So we're essentially going to be comparing these things to aspects of Santa's workshop. So I'm going to pull up my copy really quick and go over how you guys are supposed to do this. So this is what you will find under the classwork tab, Santa's cell workshop. Even the little elves are excited. Look at them. It's going to be great. Okay, so this slide says what do cells have to do with it? Santa's workshop and cells, what do these two things have in common? The cell theory states that every living thing is made of cells. Animals are made of one or more, usually millions of animal cells. Plants are made of one or more plant cells. The cell is the smallest unit of life. And even though a cell may look very simple at first sight, it actually is very complex because it performs many jobs. Inside each cell are smaller structures that each perform a unique function. These smaller structures are called organelles. Each organelle performs a job that's very important for the cell, protecting the cell from invaders, managing or bossing around other organelles, processing energy, supplying energy, transporting materials, building proteins, storing water, breaking down materials and getting rid of waste, and much more. All of these organelles have one smaller job that contributes to accomplishing the bigger job of keeping the cell alive and working. So today, we're going to compare the functions of each of the organelles in a cell to parts of Santa's workshop. So Santa's workshop, just like a cell, requires many different machines and workers to make it function. Each of them have a small job that's vital to the most important job, which is getting presents to the children. This project is going to take a little study of cells and a lot of creativity from you. As you work through your project, you're going to record your ideas in the student workbook section of this activity. And you're going to look and figure out how you can compare aspects of a cell to Santa's workshop. And then you're going to draw your workshop. Okay? So here's just a little bit of information. Think about whether you want Santa's workshop to represent a plant cell or an animal cell. And based on what you choose, that will determine the different organelles that you'll put in, because plant and animal cells share the majority of the same organelles, but plant cells have a couple of different organelles than animal cells, so you got to be careful. So here are our cell organelles. This page right here talks about some key things to think about. What could be the walls of Santa's workshop? Who would be Santa's workers? Who is the boss? Where's the mailroom? Delivery people, builders, what are their jobs, right? So there's all these different elements of the North Pole in Santa's workshop, and you're going to be comparing them to the different organelles of the cell. So here's a picture that shows you the different cells. So the circular one is an animal cell, and the more square, rigid shaped one is a plant cell. And it lists a bunch of different organelles that you can find in each cell. These are like the most generic, basic ones. And then here is what you're going to be using for the majority of your time. This is the list of 11 organelles, its function, and then what kind of cells you can find them in. So if you notice, there are 2 that are just found in plant cells, and the rest are considered organelles that you could find in both. So if you're determining that Santa's workshop is like a plant cell, then you can incorporate a cell wall and a chloroplast. But if you say it's like an animal cell, you're just incorporating the rest, okay? And then there's its function, so it tells you what it does. So the cell membrane protects the cell from the outside and lets things in and out of the cell, right? So what could you think of that lets things in and out of Santa's workshop? A door, maybe. Maybe there's a cool golden gate in the North Pole that lets you in and out. Whatever. Okay, looking at all the different organelles there. Number 7, the nucleus is considered the boss or the control center of the cell. Who would be the controller of Santa's workshop?
The bossiest elf.
Miss Smith says the bossiest elf. I was going to say Santa, but or Mrs. Claus because the woman is always in control. What do you think, Miss Smith? No?
Bossiest elf. There's a head elf.
There's a head elf, she says. But you know what? That's why me and Miss Smith are 2 different people, because I would make mine Santa and she would make hers a bossy elf. And we both have 2 really epic Santa workshops. Okay? So looking at this slide, it says, how is a cell like Santa's workshop? First thing you're going to do is list out the organelles of the cell. In the next column, you'll write a fitting analogy. So an analogy is your comparison, right? So what you're comparing the organelle to. And then the third column is why. Why did you pick this one? So if you look, here's your student workbook where you write the organelle, the workshop that you're comparing it to, and then why. So for the nucleus, I would write nucleus under organelle. Under workshop component, I would say Santa. And then my why would be Santa controls the workshop like the nucleus controls the cell. Okay, so that's what your why would be. So you have 2 pages of the student workbook to fill in your different organelles. And then you are going to design your workshop. Okay, so once you've made your list of organelles and what you're comparing them to, now you get to draw your workshop. You can do it online if you can, be tech savvy enough to figure out how to do it online. But I think the easiest way to do it is to draw it and just take a picture of it. So you'll literally draw Santa's workshop, label each workshop component. So like elf, Santa, assembly line, gate into the workshop, whatever. And then you'll label underneath that the organelle you're comparing it to. So the actual organelle you're going to write in green, and the component of Santa's workshop you'll write in red because those are our Christmas colors, right? So on this last slide here is where you upload a picture of your workshop. Okay, so you take a picture of Santa's workshop that you drew and you post it onto this slide right here. If you want to make it, you can just add different items to this page and make it like that. However you want to, okay? It's meant to be fun and let you be creative. So if you have any questions, make sure you don't email your teacher over break because this is just for fun. No, just kidding. If you need us, we'll be here. So we hope you have a great break, and that's it. Merry Christmas!